Yeah.
We can just talk about it. It's pretty simple.
You can
I'll
they
go
just
find it while
raised,
you guys talk about it.
they just raised, so it's age 42 for enlisted. It's not for pilots. We're still at the 32 and 33 Navy Air Force respectively. But it used to be you couldn't enlist, and now age 42 because it could get you to age 62 with a 20-year retirement. My question is, why would you want to, Gonky?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a valid question. I mean, that's pretty old. I mean, 42 was just a couple years ago for me. And I'm like, I just, that point, I just think at that point in a person's life, I'd be curious to see how many 40-year-olds they get, like in their first year, second year. I don't think it's going to be a lot.
Medical professionals, absolutely. Those that are
right,
have a skill.
Yeah, like your chaplains, your doctors.
Our flight doc was probably in his 40s when he showed up, but he was an ER doctor.
Yeah. But as far as like, your infantry types, I don't know, just not infantry, but
to me, there is a time in your life where you can put up with the bull.
It's a young man's sport.
Well, not just that, but just like I looked at, people ask me about, well, have you ever thought about doing law enforcement as a real career? And I'll be honest, at one point I looked at the state police because I was like, oh, that's cool. I love the, flashy lights, wee-woos, all that stuff. But then I looked at their academy and I was like, hell no, I'm not going through that. Like, there's no way as a 30 or 40-year-old man, I am going to go through the reindeer games of BMT or OTS even, or because you're done. You're over it. You've already seen the man behind the curtain.
Right. And honestly, I mean, when you're in your 40s, that's typically when you're doing your command tour. If you're an officer, 05, 06, or if, enlisted, you're very senior enlisted. So I don't, like you said, man, I don't think it buys them. I mean, they could raise it to 100. I mean, they're not going to get very many applicants past the age of about 32, probably, Yeah.
I think they're just still ignoring the bigger problem, which is
100%
that they have an issue connecting with Gen Z or whatever the next one is, and also they have a production problem. They cannot put people in seats, and it's messaging. It's just messaging. You have to, like the commercial we just showed. It's about reaching now. That commercial looked cool to me. I'm not the target audience, though.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they needed to have somebody twerking. What? I can't
even make a smart joke about the current culture. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, what I know that here's what I do know. I do know, based on the sample sizes, I've gotten a lot of emails from kids that are aspiring to become fighter pilots. So I do know that at least what we're doing reaches part of that demographic. And I don't think they're that far off from what we were when their single focus is to do this job. So when they've already decided at that point that they want to do this, it's information. They want information. They want to be informed. They want to know, how do I get there? How do I do what you did? And I don't think that's changed. So, but that's already a captive audience. It's about reaching the people that are having no interest whatsoever right now and convincing them to have an interest and that they need to do this. And I think the answer is, there's so much complaining right now about, well, I got to, college is expensive, loans are expensive, housing is expensive, all that stuff. Guess what? All those things I just mentioned, if you enlist in the military, done, taken care of.
That's true.
You can cover college, you can cover housing, you can cover, at least while you're in, till you figure out what you want to be when you grow up. And it can give you skills that you need to go do it, and then decide, versus staying at your parents' house, getting a useless liberal arts degree and having $200,000 in student loans with no appreciable skill.
I mean, That's exactly what my dad and my brother both did. They were like, well, I'm 18. I want to get out of here. The easiest way to get myself on 2 feet is join the military. And they wanted to serve too, right? So they both enlisted in the Navy, like right out of high school. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah. You want free healthcare? You want college?
Well, it's not free. You work for it, but it is good healthcare. You're right.
Well, that's just like people saying, well, we need universal healthcare. Guess what? Your taxes are going to pay for it. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Nothing's free.
No, there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's just how you earn it that matters. And for me, I like to choose my own adventure. So would I like to go and serve in the way that I think best fits my personality and skills, or would I like to meander around and live at home and end up, because you're going to be indebted to somebody.
Right.
The money does, unless you're a trust fund, even if you're a trust fund, baby, you're going to be indebted to your parents. I mean, it doesn't, yeah, you're always going to be indebted to somebody. It's just, you're choosing how and where you do that. And it's a pretty cool thing to serve your country.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is. And like I said, the way they sold it is good, but I don't know, like I said, or like you said, 42. That's a different audience.
You should probably already be established in a career. Probably. You should already be established in a career by 42.
Yeah.
You should have something to offer.
Yeah. You shouldn't be in the basement of your mom's place at 42. No. Be like, all right, it's time to get out of here. I'm going to join the Air Force.
I'm joining the Air Force.
Can you sign for me? You're 40. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Can we make bunk beds? There's going to be so much more room for activities.
Is he going to yell at me?
I'm not calling him dad.